It's amazing to me that a manga that was made 20 years ago can have a theme and a narrative that is still relevant to this day. And that manga is Akumetsu.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Welcome to my new series Manga Meter, where I'll be giving you a brief overview of this series and then going into what I liked and didn't like, hopefully with little to no spoilers. Stay tuned to the end to find out what score out of 10 I gave this manga. Let me know what series you want me to rate next. Please like and subscribe, hit that notification bell so you don't miss the next video, and thank you for watching. Now on to the video. In the 20th century, Japan as we know it is in ruins. The country has amassed a debt of $700 trillion. And it's not going down anytime soon. In fact, it's rising and at an alarming rate. The elite have become corrupted and they do as they please, spending and using the funds of the people as their own personal bank account. This is where our main character Sho comes in. He's on a date with his girlfriend Sheena and things are going well for him. He even gets a kiss. But something seems off. At the end of the date, Sheena is acting kinda strange and is very abrupt when she's saying goodbye. We then cut to a high-class hotel, and we see that Sheena is selling her body to an elite consultant banker who is retired. She's doing this because her father amassed a debt and ended his life. She is now being forced to lick the guy's feet, as a physical and mental reminder to know her place in the world, to know that she is just a lowlife compared to him. That is until there is an interruption. This red wine, it's exquisite. You can really taste the heavy blood taxation. The old man looks over and sees a guy in a strange mask. He calls a waiter over to go deal with him. Blam! The waiter is shot in the leg. The masked man approached the old banker. Everyone in the room scrambles to call the police. The masked man brandishes an axe, and he asks Sheena to move. Sheena recognizes that voice immediately. It's Sho. The old man asks who he is and he reveals his name to be Akumetsu. The old man warns Akumetsu that he's making a big mistake and he will be punished for his crimes, and there's nothing he can do to stop them. Blam! Another gunshot. Akumetsu doesn't care. He's gonna ask this old man some questions. He asks the old man 4 questions in total. The first question he asks the old man is this: can 10 million yen kill a person? The old man is confused, so Akumetsu tells him a story of a man who couldn't pay a loan, and as a result he hung himself. The man died because of 10 million yen. The second question is where does the money he steals come from? The old man tries to deny any notion of stealing, and because of this he gets his toe shot off. But the old man is able to come up with a real answer, and that he gets the money from the people's taxes. The third question is an example of how lives can be saved with money. How many people can be saved with 300 million yen? The answer is related to the first question. 10 million divided by 300 million is 30 lives. 30 lives could be saved. The old man pleads for his life, but Akumetsu has one final question for the old man. After all evil people in this world are dead, will the world be peaceful? The old man replies it doesn't matter how many you kill, there will always be evil. Akumetsu laughs at this, and he declares that he'll just kill them too, and he'll clean up all the evil. Because he is the one that destroys evil. That is Akumetsu. Akumetsu means the destroyer of evil. Akumetsu then plunges his axe into the head of the old man. In the aftermath, he makes a warning to everyone else in the room. This is how you'll end up if you continue your evil ways. He then starts dragging the corpse away. Sheena is having a mental breakdown and follows after Sho, trying to think of a possible future of them still being together and having an ordinary life. Their only option is running away together. When to her horror, Sheena sees Akumetsu drag the corpse outside into the public, and then he blows up, right in front of everybody's eyes. The next day, Sheena goes to school despite the trauma she just experienced. When to her absolute shock, she is greeted by Sho at school. This is the plot of Akumetsu. In a world of political corruption and unrest, a vigilante hero appeared out of nowhere to eradicate all the evil in the world by any means necessary, with a unique power and code of honor to accompany him on his journey. Now that you have a general idea of the manga, I suggest you go read it and then come back to watch this video. If not, then enjoy hearing the pros and cons I have for Akumetsu. Now what I liked about the series. Firstly, I really enjoy a vigilante or anti-hero story. I have always found myself more interested in a story that deals with darker themes, with the characters to match a dark gritty world. 2 examples would be Guts from Berserk or the Punisher from Marvel. For some reason, I find myself enjoying stories that deal with more realistic scenarios, or more intense action, or versions of evil, where it's not just a villain going mwahaha, I'm the bad guy, just being bad. I'm gonna blow up the world because I want to. I prefer something more like, oh, this bad guy did a really bad thing, now I have more of a reason to hate him and want something bad to happen. There's a concept that Akumetsu presents, and it's the one man, one kill rule. He won't kill someone evil unless he's risking his life. Akumetsu also doesn't involve the innocent, which is something I can respect. But he also claims to be a hypocrite and a self-proclaimed terrorist, so take that with what you will. But hey, at least he's honest and has a moral code. Another interesting facet of the series is how he goes about enacting his judgment. Instead of just assassinating one of the corrupt officials in the dead of night, Akumetsu does it in some of the craziest ways possible. For example, he hosts a public debate for all of Japan to see, or he does a street race while being followed by a news helicopter. Those are just some of the crazy examples that happened. But the thing that I enjoyed the most and kept me reading more is the how and why he does what he does. Without spoiling anything, Akumetsu has a very unique power. That's the reason he's able to come back from the dead. And the story utilizes the idea and mystery of its power, I think, to the best of its abilities. Also how, even though it's not giving it right away, the motivation in what started Akumetsu going on his justice spree in the first place. I think it's safe to say if you have questions while reading this manga, I can guarantee about 95% of them will be answered. Now, it wouldn't be a manga review if I didn't talk about what I didn't like. Overall, there are really only 4 things I would really complain about when it comes to this series. The first being the art style in its entirety. I think the only cool and good looking character is Akumetsu. Otherwise, I feel all the other characters kind of take a backseat in the visual appeal department. But I do think the author did an amazing job with the backgrounds. And I get the villains are supposed to be ugly and that's fine. But when I look at some of the female characters, they even look like a different species in the series. I mean, look at the gap between the eyes and the face. Speaking of characters, it really doesn't seem like any of them truly served a purpose until the last couple of volumes. You see them in the background, but they kind of just show up out of nowhere, or when it's really convenient for them to be there. Like you have 3 people chasing after Akumetsu. One has a really interesting quirk and it's not really utilized at all. Then you have 2 girls in the story, Sheena from the beginning of the story and then another girl. They both kind of just pop in and out, not seeing them for multiple volumes. Then thirdly, it would be the dialogue. Not to say that the story felt slow overall, but there were definitely some times while reading that it just felt like pages and pages of dialogue, sometimes repeating the same thing. We would find out that one character discovers something and has a whole conversation about it, then for another character not associated with that character having the same conversation, kind of repeating the same thing over and over again. Lastly, it would be the ending. While I think the whole and the purpose of Akumetsu is great, with the themes and meaning behind it sticking with me, the ending felt a little rushed and left a sour taste in my mouth. But I guess if I had to choose another ending for this series, it would be hard for me to come up with a satisfying conclusion as well. But overall, with all things considered, entering it into the first ever manga meter, I would give this series a solid 8. I think for me, if the art style was a little more updated and cleaned up, and the story had a slightly more polished ending, this manga would be a 10 out of 10. I think unfortunately it was just poor timing for the manga to come out. If it came out today, I think it would be a guaranteed masterpiece. I can definitely see why people would give this a 9 and call it underrated. There's not many YouTubers covering this manga, which is definitely a shame. Please let me know down below whether or not you agree with me, what series you want me to cover next, and if you prefer videos like this one or you're looking for something else. Any suggestions would be greatly appreciated. Thank you for watching, please like and subscribe. I've been Boogdagoob. Peace.